All right, sweet. So I'm live. All right, let me figure this out. I don't see the video on here, but whatever. Anyways, we'll make it up as we go along. Hey, doggy. So I wanted to do a video for 2024 goals. I didn't really do one of these for the past few years just because it didn't make no sense, man. It made absolutely no sense just the way the whole market thing was going. It's kind of like just being opportunistic. I think that's what it was all about, just being opportunistic, and it's the same thing. So with this book list, I'm not really hard pressed on these. I don't really like if I don't only pick up like one or two of these books, um, I would be fine. Like I'm not gonna force it. Like I'm not hard set. I think when it comes to my collection, I've pretty much picked up everything that I've wanted. Um, let's see. Let's go ahead and blow this thing up. Alrighty. Beginning. All right, sweet. So the first one I'm gonna be picking up, and I think this is gonna be the biggest one on this list, and that is TMNT number one. So I don't really care if it's second print, third print, whatever. I think the first print's pretty much out of my range, but I think a third print could be fine. CGC, I don't really care if it's CGC or if it's raw, whatever. I would prefer to buy it in person just because this is uh a book that it's one of those books where the first, second, and third prints they all look alike. And the only way you can tell which one's the first and the second print is if you actually look inside and you read the fine print, and it'll tell you whether it's a second or third print or whatever. It won't tell you if it's a first print, but it'll tell you if it's a second or third print. Um, I would try to stay away from like high grades of these. With the whole CGC stuff that's going on right now, I feel like this is probably one that would be kind of difficult to. I would be wary of, yeah, picking up one of these in a CGC. Just kind of taking CGC's word for it or whatever. I don't know. I think you're fine. Like if you're like me, you pick up like CGC books that are like 8.5s and you're picking them up at the cost of grading it. I think that's fine. I think where you might be getting in trouble is if you start picking up books that are like I call them like the basic bitch the basic bitch books, which is kind of like the books that everyone kind of gravitates toward getting in because there's plenty of them and there's so many, um, and they're not that high up. It's kind of like your Hulk 181s, your Bat ASMs 252s, your ASM 300s, 299s, New Mutants 98s. Those are very common keys that people tend to really gravitates towards. So those are the ones that I would be wary of, especially if you're getting like Mark Jewelers or uh, Newsstand or whatever. I would take a hard look at those. But I think one of these, I think if I just find it live, that's the only one that I would kind of pick up. Hey, Kenneth, welcome, dude. Next one would be John Burns' Next Men. So this is the first appearance of Hellboy, and I've been reading Hellboy. I actually picked up the the big omnibus that they released this year. I'm like halfway through it. And that thing is a big, hefty boy, and I really enjoy the story. Like I'm still not a big fan of Mike Mignola's art. I don't like it's not for me. Like it, but I can see but it fits. It fits Hellboy. Like it's very stylistic and there's some really deep contrast between the darks and the lights. But there isn't a whole lot of detail, I think. However, I think that the style is very consistent throughout the story. And I guess we'll see once we get to a story that it's not drawn by Mike Mignola. So we'll see. overall, I really like this character, and I don't think it's a character that I would actually get put on my pull list and I would read like on a daily basis. I think this is just kind of I don't even know. Is this Next Men's 21? I don't know. Anyways, but that's what it looks like. Next one on the list would be Daredevil 131. So this is the first appearance of Bullseye. Again, this is one that I'm not really going to be forcing, but I don't really see any spec on Bullseye or anything, so it might be a good time to pick it up. I think out of the Daredevils, I think this is probably one of the major ones that I have left for Daredevil. And then after that, I can just fill in with the smaller keys and the smaller books and stuff like that. Again, I don't really care if it's CGC, if it's Raw. I don't really care. As long as it's all there, I'm not really too good for mid grades and stuff, especially with the stuff with CGC going on. I think mid grade's kind of a little soft spot. Because again, I think people who are like doing scams and stuff, they're not going to be focusing on like mid grades, right? They want some of the higher stuff, the 9.8s, and the rare newsstands or whatever like that. I think going some lower tiers, you're finally safe. Speaking of Daredevil, these are two of the main other two large keys for Daredevil. Uh, Daredevil number four, first appearance of the Purple Man, and Daredevil number two, which is the first appearance or second appearance of Electro and second appearance of Daredevil. So these are kind of nice. I don't really care like lower grade, that's fine. Again, just take them how they come for when it comes with these. Purple Man, I think that's a really awesome villain. I read Alias a couple years ago. It's just a Jessica Jones by um, Michael Bendis and stuff like that, and David Mack. Great stuff. Hey Bobby, what's up, bro? Check it out. Speaking of Michael Bendis, Daredevil number nine, this is the first appearance of Echo, who is like a Native American hero. I really like that. And the fact that she is like deaf. I really like this story. I don't know if anybody's read this, but it's kind of like they fit like two parts to a whole, like a puzzle, right? He's blind, she's deaf, and they kind of fit together. And it's a really nice story. And I really love the art by David Mack as well. I think this is written by David Mack as well. So anyway, beautiful cover, man. I wish the cover would have actually been the other one. I think it's number 10, where she's actually on there. That would have been so awesome if that would have been her first appearance, but that's still a really great first cover appearance. I think I'll just probably wait till after the show. I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot of spec coming on it, but I think after the show, it'll probably be like rock bottom cheap to get. Here's another one that's really cool down. So I really wanted to this one. This was one that I kind of had the FOMO for like a couple years ago. I was like, man, I'm never gonna get this. This is a great villain for Ghost Rider because I collect Ghost Rider stuff, and this is something that I thought was gonna be like out of reach because the whole Mephisto MCU, all that trolling and all those rumors and stuff. But finally, all that stuff's died down and Mephisto has kind of become kind of a meme. Oh, Mephisto's going to be in this, so it's kind of a meme now, and that's okay because I think this book has come way down, and I think it still has a little bit more to drop. So again, if I find it at conventions or if I see it at the comic shop or something like that, that's when I'll pick it up. But again, I'm not in a huge hurry to be picking any of these up. This is Detective Comics 373. So this is a second appearance of Mr. Freeze. This is actually the first time where they use the name Mr. Freeze. In his first appearance, Batman 121, they use Mr. Zero, right? And this is just an awesome cover. I don't know if that's Neil Adams or who, man, but it looks fantastic. It looks awesome. Great Silver Age perspective cover. You can see the bridge. It's like a Brooklyn bridge, but obviously it's probably Gotham. But it just looks great. This is just a great cover uh, for Mr. Freeze. So again, another one that's not too expensive. Other ones would be just be like Silver Age Aquaman and Silver Age Daredevil. Silver Age Daredevil I thought has always been kind of underrated. And same thing for Aquaman, especially those Nick Cardy covers and stuff like that. I'll probably start picking out some of those old adventure comics that have Aquaman backup stories by Ramona Fradon. Because honestly, man, Ramona Fradon is absolutely underrated when it comes to Aquaman. I know a lot of people think about Nick Cardy and those iconic covers, but it was Ramona Fradon who, leading up to that run, she was the one who really gave Aquaman his aesthetic because she drew him for years leading up to that uh, debut and showcase. So uh, I would really like to get my hands on some of those earlier adventure comics, especially those early Golden Age with Ramona Fradon backup stories. And again, I feel like she's kind of underrated, and I think a lot of it's because she was in backup stories. Her stuff was in backup stories, and because Aquaman did not get a cover until Brave and the Bold 28 for Justice League. All right. So that's it for those books, man. That's it for the books. Just picking up Silver Age, kind of pick them up as I get them. Another thing would be I put this picture of this hoarder right here, collection, because honestly, that's how I feel with my collection right now. It's kind of all over the place. I just moved into a new place, and that's another goal is kind of set up the place, uh, organize some stuff. I know a lot of my single issues right now, some of them are in the garage, some of them are downstairs, some of them over there. I don't know. I would like to consolidate that stuff and try to get it all together. This room is pretty decent size, but I don't want to fill it up either. Like I think I'm good with this stuff, but it's just kind of organizing the way things. I should probably do a tour. I'll probably do a tour of that. Probably set up a video like that. But uh, this room needs a lot of work. Like it needs a lot of work. So that's probably going to be one of the main things I'll be focusing on. Um, thanks, Bobby. I mean, if I don't find him, that's cool too. Just like I'm just gonna, kind of enjoy it and stuff like that. Uh, Next one is like personal fitness goals. I think that this is something that kind of goes in with the year as well. I think last year I did a pretty good job of staying consistent, but I think this year I would like to go from somebody who works out like 2 to 3 times a week to somebody who works out 4 to 5 times a week. And I pulled this workout at on ChatGPT. All right, so I'm replacing some fitness, and I already don't like it, but I'm gonna try it out anyways. But just trying to add some of those things, especially because I'm getting up there in age now, and so I want to kind of maintain some of that health and try to stay on top of that. So again, it's one of my goals. Probably stick to this Chat GPT for like a month and then try to do something else. Just because I get bored. Like I feel like I get bored. Last year I did a lot of weights for like the first half of the year, and I really got big. Like that was the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I was lifting heavier, but I also felt like really stiff and slow. I felt very tankish. But hopefully this year add more calisthenics and add some more yoga. I'll try some of that DDP yoga, stuff like that. I never done yoga, so I always thought like that was kind of like girlish or stuff like that. But as I get older now, I see that how important it is to add some of that flexibility to that. Some of the things I'm looking forward to this year. Um, so I'm looking forward to this is the Aquaman Steelbook that came out in 2018. This is a Jim Lee cover. Um, but I'm looking forward to the Aquaman #2, Lost Kingdom. I'm looking forward to that Steelbook release. I'm hoping to get some of those special featurettes. For example, I don't know if you guys seen the movie, but it looks like they cut out a lot of Amber Heard out of that book, out of that movie, like a lot. Like you can tell, like they were really trying to put her in the background. Um, but I hope that they add those scenes or they maintain those scenes in this, in the special edition. I hope they include it just because, yes, I understand how people felt about Amber Heard, but Mira was such an important part of the Aquaman role that they can't just cut it. So I felt like there was kind of like a little way people trying to have it both ways. Some people were saying, "Oh, it's the story is always important. It's always important. Doesn't matter." But then like the story is important, and she was important to the story, so it didn't make sense to cut her out of the story if it didn't make sense, especially if you're trying to stay close to the comic book. So I'm actually looking forward to that physical release. Again, I'm trying to actually cut back on I'm trying to cut the wire on some streaming services and just trying to build up a physical collection, especially since Best Buy and Walmart are starting to really cut down on their physical media collection. And I just don't like, the fact that sometimes you're looking for something on it's so fractured. Like, oh man, sometimes I feel like watching this movie and you gotta subscribe to this thing, you gotta subscribe to that thing in order for see it. It's so fractured. It used to be such a good idea when Netflix was like, well, you just come here to get everything. then it was a good idea, but now it's like so fractured, and then the prices keep going up, and you're getting less and less. So I think in trying to build up a little bit of a physical media collection, especially right now because it's cheap. Um, right now you can find out DVDs and Blu-rays right now are very cheap. Like you go to the Goodwill and get them for dollar store or whatever, get them for less than $5 a dollar, DVDs and stuff like that. And I feel like right now it's a good time to start building that up before they actually all go away, and then people start looking at these things like collectors and stuff. Another thing I'm looking forward to is the Deadpool #3. I feel like that's gonna be a great movie. Probably the best superhero movie that's gonna be coming out this year. Again, I feel like it's just gonna be straight up fan service. There's probably not gonna be a whole lot of substance here, but whatever. That's just been superhero movies in general the last few years. This is one that's got me excited. Furiosa and the Mad Max saga. I've been looking forward to this. I've been waiting for this. I'm like, when we get another Mad Max? I really enjoyed the first one. The first one was amazing. Like it was great. Like everything you wanted out of a Mad Max movie. It was like great action. And if you think about it, the story plot was kind of like pretty basic. Like they're basically driving one way and then they start driving the other way. And that's pretty much the whole movie. But they were able to make it very stylistic and entertaining. And so I'm hoping we get a little bit more of this. I actually like playing the video game too, and there's like a gas city and stuff like that. So I think that that's going to be included in this. Like you kind of saw some of those depictions of the gas city. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do with that world, and I hope they continue building onto the Mad Max world. Even though I feel like I am going to miss Mad Max. Hopefully he makes like a cameo of a young Mad Max or something. That would be cool. All right. Joker, Folly of Deuce or Folie of the Deuce. I don't know. I don't speak French, but look, this movie looks fantastic. When they said that it was gonna be maybe a little bit of a musical, that made me a little bit nervous. I was like, what is going on? Why are we getting a musical? But if you look up Folie à Deux, it's actually something that they use in psychology, condition where it's folly of two, right? Basically, it's a condition. It's what happens when two people who are like mentally ill and they live together. They start to share delusions. Like it's like their delusions combine to create their own little world. And that kind of makes sense, right? For the Joker and the Harley, because from what we've seen, the Harley Quinn gets caught up in Joker's like in his sickness. She gets caught up in that mentality that he creates, that world that he creates for himself. So the fact that they might be singing and dancing, and it would be kind of them sharing their delusion. I'm very interested. Like that first Joker, man, it's very rewatchable. I recently we watched it like in November, and it's so good. It's very rewatchable, and it sent me down the what's it, Martin Scorsese rabbit hole where I started watching like Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, uh was it Anchor? I don't know, the one with the news guy, not Anchor Man, but the one with the news guy. The comedian guy, yeah, King of Comedy. So yeah, very, very excited about this one. I think this is gonna be one of my favorite films. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's all I have for 2024 goals, man. And hopefully everyone here watching on the replay, thank you. Everyone that joined me here, Bobby, Kenneth, thank you. Hopefully all you guys had like a great Thanksgiving break, great Christmas break, and hopefully you guys have an excellent 2024. And I'll see you guys around. All right. Take care. Peace.